You are welcome to Spot On with StephREDD.
How are you, StephREDD, today?
I am fantastic. In Spot On with StephREDD, we talk about different topics, just different issues.
There's a form of access in everyone.
I love to be very independent.
And the recognition of the genius that we are and who we are.
I sound very smart, but I have zero education.
I always learn something from everybody I work with.
To see how we can embrace new perspectives and, quite importantly, be able to progressively evolve with the fullness of who we are, the fullness of our genius.
When you are living a fulfilled life, that means that's the feedback loop that you are on the right path.
When you can give value to someone, that's your greatest gift to the world, and that's when people will listen to you.
And then begin to impact our world with that genius, one person at a time. Today, I have an amazing gentleman with us, and it's totally a pleasure to have Michaell Magrutsche. Did I get that right?
Michaell Magrutsche.
Oh, Michaell Magrutsche. I beg your pardon. Michaell Magrutsche is here with me. Michaell Magrutsche is an American Californian multimedia artist, creativity awareness educator, and strategist whose life story embodies the power of resilience, creativity, and embracing one's unique strengths. Despite facing challenges as a dyslexic child with dysgraphia, Michaell's journey led him to become a self-taught artist and author with 5 books to his name. His creative spirit and determination not only saved his life, but also propelled him to become a leader in various industries, including hospitality. Michaell's unique perspective on living a human-centric life versus a system-relevant one has sparked conversations about the importance of awareness in making life significantly easier, transcending cultural and social boundaries. Through his art collaborations with industry giants like Robert Evans and role as a city art commissioner, Michaell advocates for embracing neurodiversity, fostering creativity, and redefining our approach to education and self-expression. Join us as we delve into the inspiring journey of Michaell Magrutsche, a true visionary reshaping the way we perceive human potential and creativity. Once again, welcome, Michaell. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for giving me a canvas to paint. I think I should just leave because you gave me all the accolades that I sound like a biography. You said it all basically in the introduction. It's we are 8 billion people, and we are all one of one. Every human is a one of one. Yeah, and the segregation of system relevance into gender, race, sexuality,
Absolutely.
hierarchy of any way is system relevant. The system needs to vote, you are a woman of a different color than me. That's relevant for the system. For me, it's not. For many people, it is, because many people think that's the right thing. That's why I say system relevance is not the truth. The truth is our human centricity. We are a collaborative creator animal of nature.
Yeah.
That's what we are. We are not a gender, because there's women that are much more masculine than feminine, and there's guys that are more feminine than any woman can ever be. So we are all over, and everybody's one. And not only is everybody one. See, this is now where awareness comes in. Everybody is one, but everybody also has a different perception of life. Because if you have siblings, I have 2 brothers and a sister, they are completely looking different at life than I do. So it's not just race, gender, where you come from. It's also the perspective of how you look at life. And obviously then the system has you're from Africa, I'm from Europe, you're in America, wherever, Asia, you have a different perspective, system perspective, because you're conditioned by that too. So basically, we got to be aware, if we want to know the truth, if we want to be truthful to ourselves, that it's all an illusion when it comes to system relevance.
Yeah.
So if you want to get to the bottom of it, think as humans as one big family. It's one family, and nobody can get out. If we kill 100 people on that side of the town, the other side will feel it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you say they're poor, they're rich, they deserve it or not. It's inconsequential. You have to pick up the slack. If you're 1,000 people, you kill 100. The 900 have to do the work that the 100 were killed. So we are all in this together. We can't get out. Elon Musk cannot go to Mars and say, okay, I'm good. And I always say, if you put all the rich people, all the powerful, the most powerful people, most rich people, you put them all on the island, let's say Hawaii, you put them all there. If the rest of the earth is suffering, they feel it, because we are all interconnected, which which you experience every day. When you go to a government office, is a different vibe than when you go to a church or to a cultural event. It's a different vibe. We feel it. We have six senses. We are, nature made us perfect, but systems say no. We can do it better than you, and that's BS. That's a business. That's a hoax. It's like the snake oil, right? You have that oil that fixes everything. No. So everybody fixes their own. And this is the whole message that I give. Basically, live human centrically, because you're human. You are a human. Don't be system. If you are human centric and you give that first, like your family, your kid, your lover, and you give that first, all the other thing will happen automatically. But if you say, no, I'm not a human. I need to be system relevant. I need to be the mayor of this town. I need to be this. Then you destroy your family. You destroy all the your essence of life, and you take away all the fulfillment, because fulfillment you don't find in systems. So fulfillment you find with other humans.
Thank you so much for talking about this. And this human centricity, transicity, if I'll call it, when exactly did it start? When did you start to have this kind of orientation toward life? Permit me to take it back to, yes, I have mentioned that in the history from your biography, that you've had, not your profile, that you had a history of dyslexia. What was that like for you, and how did you go through that to this place where you're now talking about a lot of being human centric? Tell me about it.
I was a sick child. I got born sick, and so I came when I was 7. I went to school. My parents helped me back for a year, so that I'm strong enough to get to school when I was 7. And then I found out that I can't read. I can't speak. I was stuttering. I couldn't regurgitate. So if you say, Michael, 2 plus 2 is 4, I could say, it makes sense when you show me, but I couldn't regurgitate it. Or there's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and I would say A, B, C, I would lose it. I couldn't regurgitate. So I have no education whatsoever. I sound very smart, but I have zero education. Literally, I can write and read, and I had to teach everything myself. And what educated me is art creation. Number one was art creation gave me feedback that I am capable. When I create art, I see, when you make a little doll or something, you see you're a result of what you are, and you're not you don't you're worthy something. You're not just saying, hey, in school you can, in system relevance in the school, no, we can't use you because you can't regurgitate. You can't do what we teach you. But when you create something, it doesn't matter anything. You plant a plant, you create something, and it grows. When you have a pet and you have an animal, and the pet is happy and comes and is loving to you, then you get a feedback that is saying, okay, you're worthy. There's a reason why you're here. Nature doesn't make mistake, or God, or whatever you want to say. There's a reason for a handicap, for somebody like me to be here.
Wow.
But when the system relevance says, no, you're not worth anything because you're poor, you are, you have one leg, missing one leg, you cannot remember things, you stutter.
I almost want to jump at you for calling yourself a handicap, but of course I can do that. You're on the other side of the laptop, of a computer. Do you subscribe to being handicapped?
No, no. Because if systems would see what nature sees, because in nature you exist and you're worthy. It doesn't matter. You're not better. The elephant is not better than the ant. Both do their job.
Absolutely. Oh,
Both do their job. So you have to call it this disability, because in systems it's about money, and the money has to be given, because otherwise this person can't exist. Nature gave us everything. And in nature, if you're handicapped, the other monkeys help you. The other, animals, you see, there's a community. They understand that we are a collective, that we're one human family.
yeah.
They themselves do, we do. And we're probably a whole family all together, that are all here sharing this place and collaborating. And so I'm against calling neurodiversity disability, because it's basically the people that are in systems are very system relevant. They have so much power, they can deny themselves. They have so much inner life force, and the things are more, the neurodiverse people are more sensitive. They're more. But you need both. You need the strong ones and you need the weak ones, and everybody has its own place.
I consider your perspectives really interesting, right? Really interesting, your approach to life, your approach to awareness, to the need for human awareness. And I really like you to speak more to that. I find it really intriguing to speak more to this thing for awareness. And I speak a lot about it to say, hey, for you to even become the most optimum version of yourself, to give the best of yourself to your world, you first have to become aware of how you have become, of how you are and how you have become. I am one that has always spoken against, hey, I don't believe in handicapped. I don't believe in fact that I call it name calling. Even the name dyslexic, in my opinion,
Yeah.
is name calling,
Yes.
because every human being is distinct for the purpose that they have been created. So
100%.
if I am created to read, it doesn't mean that I have a higher potential than the person that cannot read. And just thinking of how you being supposedly dyslexic has created a great community out of art, to the point where you are a city arts commissioner and you're doing great things. How did you make that transition? Yeah.
I didn't, there was no conscious. It's all unconscious. But, life happens while while you're doing stuff. It just, one thing leads to another. But this what I think I discovered with my dyslexia. I hit the wall, hit the wall, hit the wall, repeated grades. I only have like 4 or 5 grades. I went 8 years to school, but I had to repeat 2 or 3.
Wow.
So
Why?
because
Because you couldn't read?
I couldn't read right. I couldn't write. I couldn't remember. I couldn't recall how they wanted you to say it. They say, please, sir. And I say, sir, please. It's like I mixed it up. So
Oh, wow.
I couldn't do what is supposed to be appropriate. So I would talk to you like, instead of saying Miss Steph, I would say,
Steph missed.
hey,
Like reading it
no,
from
I would
behind.
forget the name. I would forget the
Oh,
name,
wow.
Steph. Or I would say, hey, what would the, but I get to the point, and instead of, I had to do my own, find my own bridges, and I found that humanity, which I found through the art. This was 45 years, 46 years ago. The art community
Yeah.
was then really an art community in Europe. So I was
Mm.
born in Austria, in Vienna, and the art community took me in, because it doesn't matter what race you are, what gender you are. You need to play the play. You need to paint the painting, and it doesn't really matter if you're a woman, a
Yeah.
man, or old, young, or gay or not. It doesn't matter. We gotta play that play. We gotta do the symphony. We gotta do what we gotta do. It's the product. That's why I say
Yeah.
art creation is such a blueprint for the world, how we should act. It's not about the product. It's not about the piece of music. That's also beautiful. But what it is the creation of it. That art doesn't care where you come from, what you are. You know, it's just about, hey, you play the violin, play the violin. I don't care how you look.
There's so many things going through my head because, and I mean, it's interesting. I live in an environment where even when you see people or you see children that haven't spoken at a particular age, they make fun of them, or that they don't walk at a particular age, they make fun of them, and it's almost like as though, hey, your mates are walking at this and you're not doing it yet, and that's just walking and speaking. And sometimes, even because of how you go at the child, the mother becomes anxious, and the child too, they get some level of anxiety. Is it the same thing? Was it the same thing with you? At what point? And I would like you to share what the parental role was, or who was the person that helped you to come to the fullness of yourself in art, and how did you realize that art was it, such that you began to grow yourself in that area to where you currently are today?
First of all, to all your listeners, Albert Einstein was considered a retard. He was not speaking till 7, 8. So for all the mothers that listening, they're embarrassed that their kid cannot speak, that because he was inward. He wasn't speaking. How I found art was like all the adolescent. I want to know how many lives art saved. When you heard a song, when you saw a movie, when you listened to a poem, when you saw a performance of actors, how
Yeah.
many lives of adolescent and children were saved because they could relate to that, not to the real system relevant life, but they could relate to the arts. And so that draw me in. And I liked music, so I was a DJ. I did fashion shows. I produced fashion shows, and then I went to advertising. And so by 30, I looked at my resumes. I had to do a new resume, and I said, "Oh my God, everything is art related. I cannot be," and I couldn't be an accountant, right? And so I said, with 30, it was a major decision that I made, and I've interviewed a lot of artists, and they are very famous, and they say feel uncomfortable calling themselves artists. I couldn't do anything, so my self-esteem comes as an artist because I couldn't do anything else. I really couldn't. I mean, I had to call myself an artist, or nobody, because I wasn't famous. I was nothing. And then I learned and learned and fell in love with the creation more than with the consumption, which is everybody. Everybody wants to have their own band. Yeah, the creation is always the power. The power in life is not the Oscar to win the Oscar. It's enjoying the path to get to the Oscar, because the next day after the Oscar, you have to start working again. It's like the success is never worth the trouble. The success is a symptom that comes.
Mm.
It's not the cause. So when all your successes, they're great. Of course, we all want to be successful because you want feedback that
Yeah,
you're doing
absolutely.
the right thing. But if you kill yourself for the success never, ever,
It eventually doesn't come.
yeah. And if it comes or not, it doesn't do it. It doesn't do it. It doesn't matter if it comes or not.
Not fulfilling is that what you're trying to
Exactly.
say? It's
Fulfilling
not
is the key.
fulfilling.
Yeah. Because fulfillment is a very interesting emotion. When you are
Absolutely.
living a fulfilled life, that means that's the feedback loop that you are on the right path. But you are one of one. So it's only for you. So whatever fulfills you doesn't fulfill me. You know what I mean? It might, but it doesn't, right now it fulfills me to talk to you and you to me. But, we have other music, we have other things, we have other things. But fulfillment is always a great feedback loop for everyone to see that their uniqueness, they're one of 8
Yeah.
billion people, is on the right path, which we said before. You
Absolutely.
should be a reader, you should be a writer, you should be an artist. And that the fulfillment shows you the direction that you're in the right direction. And then when you look back on the week, you can say, oh my God, I am happy because I'm a lot of times fulfilled. I'm not worried about, success or hitting the quarter and then,
Yeah.
reaching the goal. And then you say happy and then you feel love. The next step is then love. Because when you're fulfilled, you're on your path, and the feedback loop is you feeling good because you feel your worthiness. You feel that that God gave you life or nature gave you life for, to be, and then you feel the love, and not in
Yeah.
love with anybody, but you feel the love. That's why when you feel the right person that gets you in your power, in your oneness, you fall in love with the person. It's never the person, it's you feeling it. The person is not. It just you and him, or you and her, or whatever, is fitting together, and it brings you. And often, what you see in relationships, that one person loves, they said, "Oh, Steph, I'm so in love with you," and you say, "Michael, I'm not in love with you." And I say, "No, Steph, without you, I'm all everything with you.
Yeah.
I'm nothing without you." Because you get me into my oneness, but I don't get you in
Mm.
yours. So it's never.
Yeah.
This is the
That.
big misunderstanding, you know. And when politicians and other men talk about love and all that stuff, it's not true. Nobody can give you your happiness other than you.
How can we even elaborate on this so that people can begin to cultivate this level of awareness? I mean, this is really deep stuff you're talking about. So that it will just help them. So what I mean, deep stuff, right? It is a kind of thing that the average mind doesn't consider or think about, and I believe that it helps to be able to navigate the complexities of life just coming to that level of awareness. So if you were going to,
Absolutely, because still
if
50,
you,
it took me 50 years.
I beg, pardon me, can I ask how old you are?
Yeah, yeah.
How old are you?
Oh, me? 64.
Yes. Wow. So this is a journey from when you were 14.
No, that was thing with 7. When I mean, there's a journey from day one because I was sick, so I didn't have a childhood, la la la, being in the, thing. So I was sick in hospitals and all this stuff, and then I went to school, and then school was a mess. So it took me 50 years to get to this. So 50 years once. So once I was aware of the system, the art product and the art creation, because I was so upset that all my friends slept in cars, the artist friends, they don't have any money. And then I looked around the world. I know artists are around the world because I'm from Europe and live in America, and they're all poor. But this is the big lie, the system relevant lie.
Oh wow.
There's 2% of podcasters make 98% of the revenue of all podcasts. Two. There's 1% of, Elon Musk and all the Jeff Bezos, Amazon and stuff. All these people, they are 1% of 1% of the whole. And you always hear about them. But from the podcast, that's why podcast is a big magic, because you see that I'd rather have a talk with you than Elon Musk. Not because I want to put him down, but everybody knows what he has to say. I want to see, we are a human weave. You have something to say. Elon Musk has something to say. So for me, I don't need to talk to Elon Musk. I don't need to talk I don't need to, not interested what the top people say. I'm interested what every other human in my life
I
says,
see.
because then I I grow more and more. There's a reason why they are in my life. And when I talk to them and see them as a part of me, I feel good. I feel fulfilled. I feel, oh, she gave me that. I didn't think about it. And when I talk, it's like you and I say, let's repeat that talk. We can't.
Something just came to my mind because I wanted to ask, what are your thoughts, or how would you advise that these conversations of creativity, awareness, education, right, is
Mhm.
integrated into traditional educational systems? Because I remember once my youngest son, and he just says, I said, what happened in school today? He said nothing. He was quiet. He didn't talk in class. I said, oh, really? Why didn't you talk in class? So because my teacher said that all children who talk are bad, that not good children don't talk in class. I now said, okay, so that in my interpretation would mean that you don't talk while the teacher is talking. You listen and you ask questions so you don't cause make it to be rowdy in class. But not that you are a good boy because you keep silent. No, every child should be expressive. So feel free to express yourself so long as you're not constituting a nuisance in class and you're not disrespecting your teacher, right? I said that to him and I had to speak to the teacher to say, no, you have to be mindful what you tell to these children. All children are not quiet. Some children are kept to themselves. Some other children like to speak. Now, if you say the good children are the ones that keep to themselves, you are breaking this one's spirit to be who he was not originally created to be. So I believe that as teachers, when you come into a classroom, there can't be one box that everybody fits in, but the ability to understand how each child learns and accord them the grace of timing to let them learn. But then looking at your situation, or what was your situation, which I believe at the end of the day wasn't even helpful to you, just like probably it wasn't helpful to Einstein. Everybody's calling him a genius now in hindsight, right? But there was no patience to learn that. How do you think, being that it was you are the one on the receiving end and have now you are the one that has consciously built yourself thus far, what would you recommend should be a good way to integrate creativity, awareness, education, and traditional education?
I'm working on an educational program with a lot of educators. And
Oh,
that's
fantastic.
the first 2 years in class, the first two grades, because I was asking the question, who is teaching you to be human before you get system relevant? The first two grades, you teach kids what it is to be human. And you teach them with four things: a group art project, a theater, you know, a theater or something, frisbee, and then you do frisbee, ultimate, or some group sports, some team sports. All the kids have participated in both. So if you're not a sports guy, you are the referee. So because it's a masculine, it's the organized, system relevant sports, So you do sports, and then you do also the jocks. All these sports guys also play theater, and then you have every student has to tend to a pet. Why? Because when you when you are with a pet, it doesn't matter. It could be a turtle. It doesn't matter. You have to communicate non-verbally,
So that,
because
yeah,
verbally is a
absolutely.
system. Every language is a
Absolutely.
system. And then you have awareness class. So what we do right now, well, you discuss it and say, Steph, when I talk to my turtle, this happens. Or I talk to or when I was, I'm the quarterback of this football team, and I went to and I had to play a lady. I had to play a lady, an old lady in a thing. Oh my God. But then I thought I had so much fun because that's what I just, from my life in arts. I see when kids say, but I don't want to be that. And then you play it, and then you play it really well, and the people give you applause. And then you say, hey, I really enjoyed playing the old lady as the quarterback of the football team. So it opens you up. It teaches you the feminine of the feminine or femininity, the feminine part. This is not, it has nothing to do with gender. but it means you're the creative part, and the organizational part of a team, plus the way of being with an animal that always reminds you we are from nature,
Yeah.
and then an awareness class where all the kids, all the kids are discussing what they become aware of. They need to regurgitate it so they become conscious when they're doing what. So when the teacher asks, so what did you learn at the last game that we lost? You know, what did you
Yes.
learn when we lost that soccer game? What did you learn? And they say, this. And then what did you learn when you had to play the old lady and you were the superstar in the sport? What did you learn? And that gives us thing. And then you teach kids, we are all in this together. Everybody does wherever they are strongest.
Yes.
And you learn them about what it is to be human. The first 1 or 2 years, I think 2 years is better. But if we have in 1 year that, it would change the awareness of everything, because
Wow.
you then think, because I thought, you know, uh, music was the thing, and I learned guitar. 2 years classical guitar. Now I'm dyslexic and dysgraphia. I didn't know that then. So my hand-eye coordination is off. So I can use four chords. I couldn't do anything, but I thought I'm done with any instrument. And then a friend of mine said there was a group playing. I said, "Hey, the percussionist didn't come. Can you play the bongos real quick?" And it's like I never had to learn anything. I just was there and played. I got applause the first
Wow.
time. So, because that's what I'm saying. What you think you need to be Jimi Hendrix, right? You need to be the whatever.
You really just need to be you. We all just need to be us.
Yeah, but we need life for that to reflect it versus becoming what's successful. They are successful because they are themselves. You are not successful even if you do everything exactly, because your siblings, right? Your sisters and brothers, they have a different look at life. They're never gonna be Jimi Hendrix. They're never gonna be this or that.
Absolutely.
So when you can teach that to kids, the first two, they already sorting out, because they're learning so fast. Kids learn so
Yes. Oh,
fast,
yes.
and they don't learn from learning; they learn from experience. And because these 2 years are all based on experience, the kids will then uh, be, when they get system relevant. So, do you want to really be a veterinarian? You know, and it's like, no, I couldn't even play with my pet. It almost died, that turtle or whatever. I don't want to be a veterinarian. Because you're not having that. But other people, they fix their beds, and they were saying, I have to be an accountant or whatever, and they say, no, no, I saw how good I am compared to others with my pet, so I would love to look at the veterinarian. See, it's like you pre-sort them with life. You give
Yes.
them life first, then schooling. That's why I always say, in art, get the instrument, find out the instrument. I said, never buy your kids saxophones or pianos and stuff. I say, rent it, borrow it, let them play.
Oh,
Once they know
wow.
what they have, once they know what they're good at, then you buy a piano. Then you have them learn. Then you give them a thing. It's crazy to say, oh, the greatest thing is saxophone, and now everybody learns saxophone. It's just, the world is, if we need bookkeepers, everybody becomes a bookkeeper.
Just listening to you, I'm feeling guilty right now because when my oldest son was just about 4, I got him, okay, like just explore everything. I got him a piano and I got him a violin. The violin is somewhere at the top of the wardrobe, and he doesn't play it anymore. I think he just played it for the first 1 year when he was about up to 5, and then the string cut. And at some point, we just stopped, right? And I mean, I really love your perspective to say expose them to all of it. Don't need to buy them. Get him, let him go somewhere, learn it, and then interest now grows in that area. And then they're now able to pick to say, I want to do this, I want to do this. And that is really fantastic. And I believe that also what I hear when you're talking about exposing the children to humanity. That is great. I wrote it down. Say, teach children what it is to be human. So when they learn that first in the first beginning years, then every other thing is based on their humanity. So they approach life from a human perspective, and they are kinder to humans. They are kinder to people. They are more empathetic because they understand the essence of being human. And that is fantastic. Because I realize, and just listening to you talk about it, if, just looking at this educational system, for example, where I am, it is more intellectual. Oh, get this, become exceptionally intellectually what they call it, intellectual quotient, learn the art science and learn the arts, and there's really less emphasis on emotional intelligence and self-awareness, which are all those things of empathy, which will also help you with all the intellectual quotient. You need some level of human conscience, some level of emotional awareness, some level of human awareness, let's just put it that way, to be able to relate with people and build stronger relationships and allow the earth to really be habitable by everybody in it. So I mean, this is just it's just really profound listening to you, and to think that regardless of, this is a typical example of what a disruption is when life happens. Because the truth is, no mother anticipated that she's going to get a dyslexic or a dysgraphia child. What's the other one? What's the other word?
Dyslexia and neurodiverse. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, neurodiverse child. But then it comes, that is an adversity, that is a disruption in what I anticipated. Nevertheless, how do I navigate and find my path? And I really see how you have just found your path. Yes, it took 50 years, but who's counting? Because sometimes we limit ourselves to age, to say, oh, I have to be this particular age, otherwise I've lost time.
System
Behold,
again. System again.
system,
Yeah.
absolutely. Behold, Michael, he's 64. It may
Yeah.
have taken him 50 years, but then he has, like you said, fulfilled 50 years where I am fulfilled at what I have done, what I have achieved thus far. I'm not pressuring myself. I don't feel the need to want to move by anybody's desires, or but I'm moving at my pace with an understanding of according myself grace and all of it. And I mean, that's fantastic. Tell me about the city art. How did you grow to the point where you became city arts commissioner?
I was very good with humans. So through the arts community, I
Yes.
learned what I would teach the kids in 2 years, right? I learned that in the arts community because we created together, whatever. So I learned that. And I knew that my only survival, I wasn't even conscious, but my only survival was to be human centric, to be with human, to talk to tell you the truth, tell you, Stephanie, I'm dyslexic. I don't have, not telling you, Steffi, I wrote 5 books and I'm very educated and all this bullshit. I made
Oh
50,
wow.
60, but you know what? Be honest, because you are one of one. Nobody can say you're wrong. No, when you
Absolutely.
say you are one of one with a different perspective of life of 8 billion people, you are very special. You're very special.
Absolutely.
The dyslexic person as
Absolutely.
well as the handicapped person, all your kids, you can tell them you're not the same. You're completely different.
Yeah.
You look different at life, and that's why you are very special. And life is to figure out what nature or God has given you.
Yeah.
It's not to go try out. And also, when you explained the school system, where's the fulfillment? Humans, if the school system were correct, then every human would be fulfilled. If it would work,
Yeah.
it isn't.
Exactly.
It took me
Exactly.
50 years to teach myself. I didn't have school. I didn't have a system to teach me. The system says, stay out. You're not fitting in. We don't have anything for you. And I learned by myself, and I'm the best example. How can I have all this wisdom and awareness and all this stuff without education?
I'm just going to pause here right there, and I really have. This is just a. So I'm going to immediately talk about it here. I organized for the last 4 years. I put together an annual resilience conference, resilience, which is really for the purpose of helping people thrive despite adversity, despite disruptions? How do you bloom? How do you manage transitions? How do you build from ground zero if you have to? How do you build emotional tenacity and resilience to push beyond the odds? And it started since the first of it was before COVID, and then COVID happened, and like, we need to keep doing this because you never know when life is going to push. You must be able to stand and push back and say, you know what, I am one. I love how you put it. I am one of one, and I have a fighting chance, and I'm going to make it happen, and I'm going to live a fulfilled life, right? And just listening to you, like, just wanted to chip in here. Rest assured, Michael, you're one of the speakers for UR3. We'll talk about that after this. But because I hear a resilient spirit, I hear a determined spirit, and to think that you have done this much and even gained yourself some level of notoriety. I'm going to talk about Robert Evans. Tell me about Robert Evans. How did you get to work with Robert Evans?
So I want to just say, when you say you don't have to push, it's just the awareness. Awareness trumps everything, Steph. You know that from the
Yeah.
podcast, right? And how good you're a very wise woman. I love the advice you gave for the teacher and the son, not speaking.
Yeah.
That's awareness. If you're not aware, you don't even pick that up. You just say to your son, yeah, do what the teacher says. That's what
Yeah, that's
normal,
true.
normal mothers,
Typical. Typical.
yeah, they say,
Typical.
hey, just get through
Listen to
school,
your teacher.
because yeah, listen to your shit. But your kid will never be happy.
Yeah.
It will never be happy. So the thing is, how I came to Robert Evans. Do just this awareness also. It's awareness. I was working in television, always creative, in television. I was selling television programs. And a gentleman came to me on this. There was a fair, and he tapped me on the shoulder and he says, "Are you Michaell Magrutsche?" And I said, "Yeah, it says here right on my tag." And he said, "When you next time in LA, and I have never heard about them, can you come by the office? Can you come by? Mr. Evans would like to see you." I didn't even know who Mr. Evans was. So I was asking my American friends, because I was still living in Austria at that time. I was 18, just before I came here, and say, 20. And so I asked him, and he says, Robert Evans, he's the longest president of Paramount. He has done Love Story, Rosemary's Baby. He did Godfather. He did Chinatown. He did all these movies. He's the best friend of Jack Nicholson. And I was saying, now this is a hoax. I mean, why would they come to me, right?
Wow.
I'm
Yeah.
not system relevant. I'm dyslexic. I have no education. I'm just there. I'm good with people, as you can see, but and I have to be human centric. So he came. So I come back like a month later to America, and then have the card and a call. I just called, said, "Who cares?" But I could have also not call, saying I'm not good enough. I called. I said, "What can happen? Nothing. That is a hoax." So I said, and they said, and his butler after picked up and said, "Yeah, Robert Evans residence." And I say, "It's Michaell Magrutsche. This gentleman gave me his card and said I should call." "Oh, Mr. Magrutsche, hold on a second. Put me on hold." And I directly talked to Robert Evans. And I invited me. He sent a limo. Came to his house. And then he liked me so much, he wanted to work with me. He says, "Would you co-produce with me?" And then I also brought him some investment that obviously helped. That helped too. And then I drove him to the video bay. The video just started, and we had to go in the valley, and all the video was busy because Hollywood, no bay was open. So we went at 11 o'clock. We were editing at night. So I drove him over there, and he said, "Michaell, I don't want you to go home," because I lived an hour south. He says, "Just move into my home." And I lived for 6 or 8 months in his house. And I met all these people, and, Jack Nicholson, his best friend, obviously, and Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway, and all these people. And yeah, it just happened. I had no clue. That's why I'm saying I didn't do anything for that success. There was nothing. I just was me,
You were
and it
just
just happened.
minding your business and trying to do
Yeah,
the best that you could in a
yeah.
path that you found fulfillment.
I never wanted to work with someone. I wanted to when I was young. I always wanted to be a movie producer because I was creative, and I thought. See, this is another great lesson. I thought the producer. I'm not getting bored because my dyslexia. You're everywhere. I said I'm not getting bored when you're a producer because if I'm just an actor or something, it's very boring. So a producer, I can talk to the director, I can talk to the actor, I can navigate this all. And I was a leader and natural born leader always. So when I lived with Robert, I love Robert. Robert, and I mean, he sadly passed away, but I love Robert as a human being. He was such a great person, and he loved me obviously too because he gave the money back. We didn't publish the thing, and I've never heard anybody giving the money back. After that, and so I saw his life was all about calculate. It was like an accountant. He had to, I take in this, I get the promotion of this, and like this, and it was all scheduling ending, which is I would be the worst, for the scheduling and stuff. And I found out that I don't want to be a producer, even though I thought my whole young life that I want to be a producer. And the arts commissioner was another thing. See, I somebody, I worked in Newport Beach, and I worked there, and I was very interested in the arts in Newport Beach, and one of the guys said, "Do you want to run for arts commissioner? I think you have it." Again, I wasn't asking I need to be arts commissioner, but I said that would be interesting because I can learn something. And then I just signed, filled out my form, and then there was the election, and I said, "Michaell, you didn't get it. So I wasn't upset because there was no chance. I have no education. I don't have an arts degree. Nothing. I understood that. And then they called me two 3 years later because I didn't know that the application was moving on. They would take the next election until I say no. And I just renewed it. They sent me a thing once. Do you want to still run? Yes. Who cares? And after like 3 or 4 years, said, "Michaell, phenomenal." My friend called me from the city, and he says, "You have 6 of 7 council members voted for you.
Wow.
The seventh doesn't know you. That's why he didn't vote for you. 6 of 7." So I was, and again, nothing. I didn't kiss them or do anything. I was always me. And they said, "No, you are the right one for this." For 6 people said that. And then it was a total disappointment for me because I couldn't, when I was arts commissioner, I couldn't influence. I did some influence to change art to be rotated, but
Yeah.
I thought I could do more impact on the arts because my I think if I take $1 from the people, if I need to give them the maximum of art back, not the best art. I don't need to give them Beethoven back
Yeah.
because as a city,
Yeah.
if I get $100, I need to get the best value and
For that
hit the
money.
most people because I get the money from the people. I can't look at quality of 1% listens to Beethoven. I need to get, doesn't matter if I get Taylor Swift for 100. I need to do that. And there was a strong, they wanted to do ballet and all this stuff. I said, they the rich people can go into ballet. I don't care. They can. The rich people can afford anything. We don't need to cater to them. We need to get to people, to the masses, to experience the arts.
Wow.
And I had a hard. I wasn't. It was good. I liked it. But it wasn't what I expected.
Oh wow. I mean, this is such a, do we call it a comeback story? Because sometimes like, okay, it seems like a comeback story, it seems like a fighting against the odds and just evolving from there. And I think what particularly strikes is the fact that you were minding your own business and everything came to you. So we're in a world where we really are stuck trying to find relevance or recognition because, and then also the illusion, like you call it, the systemic error as well, where we feel time is running out, we have to do it now or we will miss out. And then we are not even coming to the table with the fullness of ourselves, with our authenticity.
So
but
well put. Well
but
put. Well,
but
yeah.
there you are, coming with your authenticity, not being worried by who's looking or who is not looking, but just concentrating on giving your best and progressively looking for how to evolve, and not even knowing that you had evolved to the point where you had now been seen, even though you were not even positioning yourself to be seen. You just kept building yourself, and there's such a big lesson to learn from that, such a big lesson to learn that, you know what, just keep watering, just keep building and watering and becoming the best at what you do. And the moment, and we'll call it a kairos moment, the moment the door of opportunity opens, you don't know when it's going to open, and you just get that call from Robert Evans, or you just get that meeting, and then you're wondering, oh, is it me? And there was something I wrote where you said, when he called you, like, me, dyslexic me, is it me, and sometimes, because there are times when we've heard something so much from other people, how
We
they
believe
see
it. We
us,
believe it.
that we
Yeah.
believe it, and we begin to second guess ourselves, such that when goodness and grace comes to us, we could turn it down to say, is it me? You don't know who I am. If you know who I am, you wouldn't give it to me. But it was great to know that regardless of her thoughts, you still made the call.
So and life isn't nothing to lose. You try things and you feel it and you feel and say, let me look at it. Don't judge it before. I could say, oh, but Robert Evans is this and he's that and whatever. No, you just do that and experience. And I love this person. And see, the thing is, when you create when you create yourself, when you said it so great, so you kept going. If you and I say always human centricity first. So if I'm the best that I can be, not systemically, but what can I contribute to humanity? Yeah, authentic, because I'm one of one. I always remember, you're one of one. Nobody knows the truth. Nobody knows the truth because everybody is one of one, and everybody has a different view on life. So that's why I say, oh, I'm Republican, I'm Democrat, I'm a liberal. All BS. Why? Because everybody looks at it differently. I mean, all from one party, from one political party. There's from the extreme, there's less, because it can't be the same. Hitler tried it, everything, and they all try this stuff, but it's never gonna work. This is the dream, the wet dream, I say, is that we have no adversity. If we all do the systemically the same, we're all happy. Never. When you want to suck out fulfillment, happiness, just be system relevant, because everybody runs, it's never enough. You hit the first quarter, it's never enough. I'm writing a big paper now on our water, that humans, we are like fish, we are in the water, and our water it's never enough. Why? Because financial principles punish you when you don't have enough, but they're not rewarding you when you have enough. So let's say you and I made $1 million, and we say, okay, we are aware, we just want to pay our taxes. Nobody rewards us. Nobody. That's okay. You have $1 million, you have the thing, you pay your taxes, and say, let's just live. We're not gonna, usually what you do in systems, you get $1 million. Now you have to go from a 3-bedroom to a 5-bedroom. You have to buy a bigger car, a bigger everything. And what most rich people do is to not pay taxes. They take a loan, live off the loan, they go into debt and live in the. So the financial principles. For example, if I see that you pay taxes for 5 years, you should get and do everything right and don't crazy and don't take credit and whatever. You should
It should be
get
a
a tax
reward or
credit.
something,
A
like a
reward, yeah,
reward.
because in nature, when I crawl up the tree for an hour to get the apple, I can eat the apple.
Yeah.
See? Always look
I
at
like
nature, what nature
that.
does.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes,
In system, in
absolutely. A
systems, you
reward
can't.
for hard work. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't get it. You just more and more. And says, "Oh, Stephanie, great that you made $1 million, but not tomorrow more. We need more, and you got to invest that money and get put it this. You got to, do. It's always more. It's never enough. Our water, we are collective, and this the danger is because we are all believing that. It's very hard to get aware to pull yourself out of that. See, for me, I had no other chance. I had to all my stress and sickness and not fitting in, I had to say it's die that die or it's both. It's die or die. Basically, I have to survive.
We have a lot in common. You know what you just said. I didn't know you were going to say die or die. So in my parlance, there's something would say all die na die. That means death is death. So if you do, you die. If you don't do, you die. So you can as well make the choice and do, right? And I like to say that even if you are going to die, die in motion. Don't die static. And we say die fighting, die trying to win. And even if you don't win, you know that you made an effort and you finished strong.
It's not about win and lose. It's about finding yourself, finding your strengths. Because when you do, it's like when you create art. That's why art creation is such so
Yeah.
powerful. When you experience life, you get you can. I'm saying, I always say this examples. You can read 3 libraries, and there's a lot of book on love.
Yeah.
If you read 3 libraries of love books, if you never experience love, these books are worthless. No,
Wasted
wasted.
time.
If I read a book on when I touch a hot stove to burn myself, if I read a book and never burn myself, I need to just burn myself as a little kid. I never need to read any books. The experience is always more awareness. Experience is awareness leads to wisdom. Experience, because your perspective counts. Your one of one counts. And the great thing is, look at this. Look at this talk. It's I contribute, you contribute. If that was a system talk, it was I'm right, you're wrong. I'm the authority, you don't know anything. I'm this, listen to me. That's system talk. That's why politics is completely waste of time, because the political discussions are about systems. It's about nobody talks about humans. Everybody, the American people, they're not talking about humans. They're talking what the whole system represents. There is no propaganda, and it's never about humans. What are any systems to do? To serve humanity, not humans to serve systems. Every system has to serve. That's why we created them. In the old days, it was tribes. We created them. We created politicians to represent our needs, us, in there, and help us to bridge the gap and help us, like, making systems better, not more. Now, like you get one system and all of a sudden you're 100 systems. You say they help us, every individual, not just the ones, the poorest, the richest, the ones that have the perfect thing for the system. Every human, because everybody is one of one. Everybody is unique, and that's but the power is also in the uniqueness, because when we
Yeah.
contribute our uniqueness to each other, then that's power. That's true power. That's true power. We have a problem, a system problem. Ask the humans. Don't try to make it 3 people making a solution. I always say this: 14 people decided about 6 million Jews in the Second World War. 14 people. That's why 14 people decided 6 million Jews need to die. That's that's what I say is you need to decentralize the power. I'm not a communist. I'm not a socialist. But you need to decentralize and allow every human to contribute.
I guess that's what democracy was supposed to be about, but apparently it's not quite working as it is, because democracy is supposed to be a power for the people, of the people, by the people, right? But then it's no longer like that, because it's the people really don't have the power. They really don't have a voice to per se. It's been dare say it's been hijacked. But thank you so much, Michael. It's been such an insightful evening. One of the things I would like to ask particularly is in the process of your evolution into art and becoming more aware and getting to the fullness of, I call it, and if there's any one person that has inspired me the most over the last 3 years, since June 1st, 2020, was Albert Einstein. I got to read more about him. The quote that particularly hits me was that every human being is genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live the rest of his life believing that it is stupid. And that gave me such an awareness that I said I'm committed to spending the rest of my life helping people realize that they are genius and activate that genius, because 8 billion perspectives, 8 billion mindsets, 8 billion
Wow,
geniuses,
wow.
8 billion geniuses. So how do you realize? I mean, if we're not all shut up in a box, but we realize that we are genius. And for every time I step into a room, I'm coming into a room of other geniuses who I just need to rub
Exactly.
minds with and share perspectives with. And we live human centric lives, understanding
Yeah,
that you're
exactly.
valuable, I'm valuable, right? In all of that, how did you come to the point to choose how to express your genius in your themes? What were your particular themes and ideas like in your creative work? What guided that?
Because I'm dyslexic, I have to make common sense, which is human centric. It's not a system set. It's not system knowledge. I have to find common sense to explain it, because if I was going to study in a university, I would have all the vernacular and
Mm,
doesn't mean anything because people don't even know
yeah.
what mindful means. Mindful means aware, but it disturbs
My
it. You know, it disturbs it, and political correctness. This is a non sequitur word. Climate change, the best word for you, makes no sense. You can Climate change has no tangible thing. It's like gravity. So we can talk about gravity, we can deny it, but nobody talks about it because they know it's so obvious. You can't do it. But climate change is the same word. It happens. What we can do though, the humans, we can have that your kids can live and their live can live clean water, clean food, clean air.
clean air,
Clean water, clean food, clean air.
safe environment as well.
Yeah, safe environment is systemically, but if we at least have clean water, clean air, at least ours we can survive, and we wouldn't be so crazy because the bad water makes you crazy, the bad food makes you crazy, the bad medicine makes you crazy. Nature has given us. We need to always. I'm not saying being against medicine. I'm saying you've got to be aware that nature doesn't has given you everything. Otherwise, all the animals would die.
Yeah.
And nature gives you. We are part of nature. It has given us all. There is a herb for everything. There is a thing. There's a cure for everything. Just because we don't know it and haven't found it,
Yeah.
but
Doesn't mean
I'd
it doesn't
rather go
exist.
right. The nature doesn't make mistakes. Every scientist will tell you, nature doesn't make mistakes. It doesn't create a million elephants and says, okay, they're gonna die. I made a mistake. It just does exactly what every party has its part. And there's the beauty in this. And you feel it. I see your face. That is the truth.
I'm smiling because in 2020 during the lockdown I suffered three sleep disc injuries. So I was bedridden for about a month. I couldn't move, and we didn't know what it was. My husband and I didn't know what it was. So I was taking epidural injections every day just to be able to lift myself and wobble a bit. But eventually, thankfully, someone recommended a neurologist, and when he gave the diagnosis, I did an MRI and gave the diagnosis. He said, you have two options. He said, it's either you have a spinal surgery or you change your lifestyle. And then he told me, with a spinal surgery, you're in your 40s. In the next 40 years, in short, he said, in the next 30 years, the tamper that you're going to do into your spine today will come calling, and you don't want that. But if you change your lifestyle, if you lose considerable weight, if you start eating right, if you don't sit down for long hours, if you change your mattress, don't lift heavy things, no matter how painful how much pain you feel, and you feel like lying down, don't lie down, just walk. As you keep walking, you get stronger, you walk faster, and all that you get. And he said, what completely changed my mindset and made me start smiling when you were talking about nature doesn't get it wrong. He said the body, and I'm talking about a seasoned neurologist in his 70s. He said the body has the capacity to heal itself. And he told me, he said that if you go meet one of my fellow colleagues, they will tell you to carry out a surgery, because as surgeons, we are trained to carry out surgery, but we don't get to tell you what the side effects of those surgeries would be. And I think I ought to tell you, because you're too young to begin to see issues 20 or 30 years down the line. So the most important thing to do, the body can heal itself. Eat right, drink right, sleep right, drink enough water, stay hydrated, exercise, give yourself time. He said, in 3 months' time, let us see you. And true to it, in 3 months' time, I was walking. I was upright, and my lifestyle changed. And that just made me realize that truly nature, that's why I was smiling when you were talking, that nature surely knows how
And it
to
doesn't make
put things
mistakes. It
back in
doesn't make
order.
mistakes.
We
Yeah.
are the ones that upturn nature.
Exactly, yeah. We think the body cannot heal itself. Body is sick. Once you're 60, you can put yourself in the casket. That's bullshit. You know that. That's like your body can heal itself. I'm the best I couldn't talk. I had eczema all over. I had asthma. I was like such a mess till I was 25, I had to every quarter I had to go into tar baths. I mean, at that time, probably today they just shoot me some cortisone, but it that hurts you too, So I did the same thing. We are one of one, and we are part of nature, which is power, because your body is not made by a system. It's made by nature, and you always go and think, my body can heal itself.
Yeah.
But
It's
that
been,
doesn't mean you're not ignorant. I'm not saying be ignorant about medical things.
yes,
Do what you did. Do what you ask, my options, my choices, and
yes,
then go from there. I'm not
yes,
saying it's not
absolutely.
either or. Human centric is not either or, because
Get
everybody is one.
awareness.
It's
Yes.
awareness, and everybody's one. So if I lost all my weight and I'm healthy, and I say, Steph, you got to do what I did, never works. Never works. But it's in system lie. It's the system lie that says, if I can do it, you can do it. And that's totally a lie. That's totally a lie. And by the way, when you say workout, always work out what makes you feel good. So for example,
Yeah.
I'm not a workout in weights or anything, but I go swimming and I go walking. That's it. One
That's
hour
good.
walking a day, 1 hour swimming a day. That's it.
That's fantastic. It's been I dare say it's been such a blessing speaking to you. It's been uplifting. I wasn't quite sure what it was going to be like, and what I just tend to step in to say, you know what? Yes, there's a script that I have, but I tend not to follow the script. I just want to flow and draw from what you're saying and get understanding and it's been such a beautiful conversation. And I really want to thank you for coming to this meeting with the fullness of yourself. And I'm going to ask, what is next from here? What are your anticipations for the future? What do you see? What are your desires? What are your anticipations? What are your plans? What are your
No plans, no
contributions?
goals, no desires. Just be in the moment. Be the best that you can be, like I was here.
Ooh, oh
I'm so
wow.
against goals. I'm so against goals.
You
And
are.
when
Oh
you
my
and
word.
and you know what you said? You said something. I said, what can we do that get people? We're doing it. You're doing this talk is, you said, what are we doing to get everybody? It's not up to us. It's not up. We are one of one. It's not up to us to make other people aware. We just be the exemplar. By you getting healthy, by me getting healthy, by me saying I couldn't even speak, and now I'm speaking for over an hour with you, that's what people see. Not, hey, if Michael can do it, then I can do my little stuff that I have, can do that too, and I don't have to be system relevant. It's I think what repels us from being fulfilled is we know that we can't be fulfilled through systems. When we don't know that we, for example, are veterinarian, what we talked about, or we are an actor, So when we don't know that, if I know I'm a sports guy, I'm going to go to sports in systems, right? If I know I'm an actor, I'm trying to be in the system an actor. But if I'm trying to be an accountant and I'm an actor, that's never going to work out. And you know that. And that's why you don't want to work 8 hours that isn't you. You want to work 8 hours that is you. And then you are fulfilled, and then you're driven, and then you oh my God, I love podcasts. I did 300 podcasts and radio interviews and all that stuff in the last 2 years. People
Oh
want to talk
wow.
to me. People want to talk to me because of
and
my
and and,
show.
and small wonder. I
Yeah,
mean, it's been so refreshing. Small wonder they want to talk to you, because I've talked to you and I am I'm inspired.
I'm reinvited. Everybody invites me again. They said, I
And
want to talk to you again.
I am inviting you again. You're coming on as a speaker again, and when we go off on this, we're going to talk more. I really just want to thank you, Michael. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. God bless you. Thank you for staying true to your craft. Thank you for staying true to your humanity, and thank you for blessing the world with your genius and helping other people, because whether you like it or not, or whether you realize it, one of the things that we do is when we show up correctly, we inspire people to show up correctly. When you show up with the fullness of yourself, when you show up with your authenticity, you also enable people to break the feelings of vulnerability and show up with that authenticity. And that is an example of a place where they would say, if Michael can show up with the fullness of himself, I will discover the fullness of myself and show up with the fullness of myself. And for that, I just want to say thank you for as many people as you may have inspired consciously,
Go
unconsciously.
on,
And
Katja.
hey, I pray for stronger health. I pray for as much longer life as you desire, in health, in wholeness, in
Yeah.
impact, in inspiration, and in everything that you desire in between. Thank you so much. Thank you, all our listeners. Thank you. I'm sure there's something that Michael has said today. Even if you didn't hear anything, I am going to title this podcast One of One. It is a significant thing I have heard today, and it's just one of one. And Michael is one of one, and you are one of one. We are one of one. The ability to come together, realizing that we're genius, yet geniuses can collaborate over conflict. I hope we progressively find ourselves and progressively impact the world, the only one that we have, and become aware so that we don't destroy it. Up until the next time, remember, I like to say that no matter what comes or goes, no matter what gives in or doesn't, you never give up until you win at that thing you're trying to do. And even if you don't win, it's okay. Just ensure by all means that you finish strong. And if you still have the strength to do it all over again and finish much stronger. I am StephREDD. See you in the next podcast. Have a fantastic day. Cheers.